Gymnastics, presented by Sprouts Farmers Market. Tonight, the #1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners host the 10th ranked Missouri Tigers for the first time as members of the SEC. Hi, everybody. I'm Bart Connor, along with my fellow Olympic medalist, Bridget Sloan. I'm very excited to be working with you this year, Bridget. And it's fun to be here in Norman. The Sooners are dominant, but Missouri is a team on the rise.
Oklahoma, they're hard to beat, especially at home, but Missouri is going to start on uneven bars. A great event for them, and especially if they can hit 6 for 6, they'll be on a roll.
Okay, let's take a look at the record under KJ Kindler in her 19th season here. For the last 18 seasons, she's won the Big 12 championship 15 times. They have a total of 97 individual Big 12 champions, several of them competing here tonight, and 56 Big 12 postseason honors. But she's never really been afraid to compete against the SEC. She's had several meets, non-conference meet against SEC teams, and her record, as you see there, is over 83%. The Oklahoma Sooners come into this meet #1 in the nation. Missouri #10. All 9 teams in the conference are in the top 20 in the country. There is Shannon Welker in his 12th season at the University of Missouri. They have set 25 school records under his leadership, and last year they had a huge win against LSU at home, and the attendance is growing, averaging over 7,000 a meet up there in Columbia, Missouri. That's Shannon Welker, the coach of the #10 ranked team, the Missouri Tigers. Oklahoma, as the home team, will open up on the vault, and this is our first chance to see freshman Lily Peterson from Mandeville, Louisiana. I don't know how she didn't end up at LSU, considering she is just down the road from Baton Rouge, but Lou Ball, the coach who's responsible for the work on the vault, says she could be one of our secret weapons.
And you're going to see why, right? Right there, opens up. That's a Yurchenko 1.5. That's a 10-0 start value. Bart, that was perfect. I mean, the height, the distance, and of course the stick at the end. What a start for Oklahoma.
Think about it for this young lady. She is a freshman, from Minnesota, coached by KJ Kindler's sister, Lori. And KJ has kept her eyes on her for a long time, since she was a young lady. Now, over on the bars, opening up for the Missouri Tigers, they have a great team, as you mentioned. This will be Kira Burns, the leadoff bar competitor for the Missouri Tigers tonight. What is their challenge here tonight, specifically, Bridget?
On uneven bars, it's to actually just do their job. Sometimes in the competition that can be really difficult. They get a little ahead of themselves, but associate head coach Whitney Snowden has really put in the work on their technique. See the legs glued together. Nice combination there. Right down to the low bar.
Kira is into this leadoff position often for the Missouri Tigers.
Wow. Bart, I said that uneven bars was a great event for Missouri, and you're seeing right there, they really went back to their technique, back to the little details. And you see right here, this is going to be her double layup dismount. You see those legs, she gets those heels together. Really nice start for Missouri.
One of the most explosive gymnasts in the country coming up now. This is Faith Torres from the Oklahoma Sooners, after Lily Peterson had a 9.925 to lead them off.
Another Yurchenko 1.5. Slight hop forward. I had a little too much power in the tank there.
Torres has competed twice in the all-around so far this year. Last year in 2023, she was the Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. Addison Lawrence will be up now for the Tigers as she's getting a few last-minute notes from Whitney Snowden, their associate head coach. She's really responsible for some of their excellent work on the bars.
She is. She went back to the basics, and as unfortunate as that is for athletes to take it back, it's important.
We're in Norman, Oklahoma tonight as the #1 Oklahoma Sooners have their home opener and their first meet ever in the Southeastern Conference. They welcome number 10, the Missouri Tigers, who are on the bars, and this is their second competitor, Addison Lawrence, after Kira Burns led them off with a strong 9.875.
Addison just going to take it to the high bar, keeps those legs glued together. Very nice floaty pack to the low bar. Gorgeous handstand right where the judges are looking. See if she can get the stick. Tiny hop backwards, but ultimately very clean work from Missouri so far.
This is dual meet competition, two teams going head-to-head and back-to-back. There will be 6 gymnasts competing on each event for each team. You count just the best 5 of those 6 scores on each event for their team total. And of course, the home order is what we know as the Olympic order. The home team starts on vault. They go to bars, beam, and floor. The visiting team will start on the bars and has to finish on the beam. Excited to take a look at Addison Feda.
Another Yurchenko 1.5. Big step forward there. She stuck them cold in warm-ups. But take another look here. You see her shoulders go forward past her hips, making her take that step forward. But it's always better to have a little too much juice than not enough.
Addison, one of the highly recruited freshmen. She comes out of Wrightsville, Pennsylvania, was coached by her parents, Tony and Jen, at Prestige Gymnastics. Off to a great start. She's been in the all-around twice so far this year. Jocelyn Moore will be up next for Missouri. Waiting on a score for Addison Lawrence, who is up second. Kira Burns got them off to an outstanding start with a 9.875.
And Bart, Jocelyn is a leader on this team.
There is head coach Shannon Welker in his 12th season at Missouri. They have set 25 school records under his leadership. Last year had a huge win over LSU at home. And look at the attendance. They're now getting more than 7,000 people into their home arena for their home meets. And so he's really taken a program that was pretty much a Tier 2 program in the SEC and made themselves contenders.
Absolutely. And one of the main reasons is this athlete right here, Jocelyn Moore. Huge release coming up right here. Tkachev. Wow. Sky-high releases for Jocelyn. Little short on that cast handstand. The judges are looking for deductions. Oh, she was holding it. Trying to get that stick. Tiny step backwards. But watch this release here. This is a Tkachev sky high.
Wow.
And right down to the low bar. But this dismount, great amplitude, hits the height, but can't hold on. Tiny step backwards, but again, clean sets for Missouri so far.
Kira Wells will be next up for the Sooners on vault. Lily Peterson led them off with a 9.925. Faith Torres a 9.85. Addison Feda a 9.8. Here is Wells.
Big vault here. Another Yurchenko 1.5. Tiny hop forward. The one thing that Kira does so well is control her landings. I know KJ would love to see her stick that vault. But right here you see great amplitude off the vault and just a controlled hop forward. Nice job.
There's Lou Ball, associate head coach, the husband of KJ Kindler, who is responsible for their good work on the vault. He's very proud of this vaulting team. They have 10 or 11 athletes that can do 10.0 start values. That's more than most teams in the country.
That's outstanding, Bart.
Several teams have 5 or 6 athletes who can do 10.0 start values, but the Sooners are deep on that event in particular. Let's take a look at the points of emphasis for bars here for Missouri.
So the judges are looking for deductions. That is their job, to look for deductions and find them. And they're going to find them normally on bars in the handstands. They want to be right on top. The release moves, of course, sometimes you can hit that mat with a fall. And then the dismount. They want to see the sticks. But ultimately, the job of these athletes is to be there perfect, whatever that might be. And just hope that the judges like it too.
Hannah Horton waiting for the green flag from the judges. She gets it and she will go. She's the sophomore from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Considered one of the most improved gymnasts on this team for the Tigers.
This is textbook perfect so far. Legs glued together.
Oh my goodness. Over the handstand.
Has to get it back. And she is beautiful on this event.
Oh,
Sticks the dismount.
that's heartbreaking because she was doing so well with such precise form.
You know what, Bart? It looked like she took a deep, almost too much of a deep breath right there, and she relaxed just a tiny bit, and those legs went over the bar.
The gymnasts are required to get within 10 degrees of that handstand to avoid a deduction. I always admire an athlete who really goes for the handstand instead of those who come up short. Jordan Bowers, the senior from Lincoln, Nebraska, set to go now after Kira Wells had a 9.825.
Another Yurchenko, 1.5 here. Nicely done. A step forward. You know, Oklahoma vault, we're used to seeing them stick, but one thing that I like to see this early in the season is they're going for the height, they're going for the power vault. They're really not holding back.
Twice that she has scored perfect 10s on vault in her career. First team All-American last year. Sooners off to a good start in this first of 4 rotations. Now, this puts Missouri in a bit of a bind. Explain what happens, because we said at the top of the show, 6 athletes compete, you count the best 5 scores. So if you have a mistake, as we did from Hannah Horton, it puts pressure on the rest of the group.
It does, but at the same time, Amari is going to get up here and do her job. She is really beautiful on this event. She's beautiful on every event that she competes. But she's probably the perfect athlete to come after a mistake. She can get this Missouri team back on track.
She is adding bars to her repertoire. She's really been known for a 3-event athlete, vault, beam, and floor, where she has excelled. But now here in her senior year, she recovered from a shoulder injury, and here she is on the bars.
Coming after Hannah Horton with a 9.375. Definitely the score to drop. Amari's going to take it right back to the high bar. Wow. Getting them back on track. Bart, you mentioned she added this event in her senior season. So impressive, by the way. And this dismount right here. She normally sticks this. You can tell she might have been a little nervous. Stalled her front pike with a half. So precise with that dismount.
And it's so great to see an unusual skill, right?
A little different,
We see a lot of double layouts off bars, but how great to see a unique dismount. Audrey Davis now, the last vaulter for the Sooners in this first rotation. Oh, my!
Wow.
I think that's the best I've ever seen her do it.
I think that is one of the best vaults she has ever done. KJ mentioned she is just a guarantee hit. She knows that when she's in the lineup, she's going to land on her feet. Well, KJ, tonight, she didn't just land on her feet. She stuck it.
Even Lou Ball looked at the judges like, what are you going to do with that? Now, in in slow motion, we can see a slight form deduction. Her legs come ever so slightly apart, which is improved from how it used to be.
Absolutely.
But you're right, KJ Kindler loves her in the lineup because she is money. Wait till you see her on the bars in the next rotation where she has scored perfect tens. Speaking of perfect tens, Mara Tito Soleil from the Netherlands will be up next on the bars for Missouri, and she herself has scored 2 perfect tens on this event, and she is just a masterpiece here, isn't she?
Her bars is a work of art. I mean, precise, technically perfect, gorgeous. And this is a score that's going to have to count no matter what for Missouri.
Remember, they're going to drop that 9.375, assuming she scores higher. This is important.
Handstand half pirouette right on top of the bar. Little short on that cast handstand. Wow, really, really nice job. She's who you want to anchor your bar lineup.
She scored 9.9 or better 8 times last year. She got the first 10 on uneven bars in Missouri program history, the second of her career. All right. Oklahoma Sooners will move on to the second of 4 rotations, and they have been respectfully welcomed into the SEC by the other teams when Friday Night Heights continues here on the SEC Network. We're back in the Lloyd Noble Center here in Norman, Oklahoma. The #1 Oklahoma Sooners hosting the Missouri Tigers after the first rotation. OU leading by a quarter of a point over the visiting Tigers. Oklahoma will move to the bars in this next rotation, and Missouri will be on the ball. A lot of special guests in the building tonight, including the queen of gymnastics, Nadia Comaneci. Hey. Coming up on the 50th anniversary of her first perfect 10 in the 1976 Olympics. Wait, how can it be 50 years if she's only 27 years old?
Math sometimes doesn't make sense, Bart.
Some of you may know that she, of course, is my wife of 28 years, making me the second best gymnast in our household. I tell people we have 11 Olympic medals. Of course, 9 of them are hers.
It's all about the total, Bart. Oh. It's all about the total.
She goes, yours two are nice too, so good for you. She's also sitting with Paul Zert, by the way, who was the founder of the women's program here in 1981. He was my former coach and the men's coach here at Oklahoma, founded the women's program. Abby Miller now on vault for the Missouri Tigers.
Coming in as a transfer. Wow, nice job for Abby. She's explosive off the vault. She does a Yurchenko vault at 9.95 start value. For this vault rotation, after uneven bars, Missouri needs to be clean and really hone in on sticking the vaults.
Oklahoma is competing 5 athletes in the all-around. So tonight we expect only to see 7 athletes from the team because 5 of the athletes are doing the bulk of the work, including Lily Peterson. Here she is leading them off on the bars.
Gorgeous combination for Lily as a freshman in that leadoff spot. It's got to make you feel good knowing that coaches trust you. She trusts herself. She's got a nice dismount coming up. Small step backwards, but a good start for Oklahoma. And again, like you said, we are seeing a lot of all-arounders for Oklahoma tonight, so Lily will be one of them.
Let's take a look at what the judges are looking for in vault this next rotation.
With vault, it's all about the start value. You want to see as many 10-0 start values, and then you want to see really nice execution, nice block off the horse, and then, of course, the landing. Everybody wants to see a stuck landing.
Kira Burns. 9-7-2-5 was the score for Abby Miller in the leadoff spot. Here is Burns. Nice.
Another Yurchenko full. It's a 9.95 start value. But Bart, we mentioned the judges are looking for that execution. These are nice and clean 9.95 start values. So sometimes it's better to do a lower start value if you can get the right execution.
They seem to get a lot of pop off that vault table. Very explosive team. And, you know, as teams develop a brand at some point, and I think when you associate the team at Missouri, you associate them with power, explosiveness.
Absolutely.
You see it on the vault, and, of course, we're going to see it on the floor today where they're just superb.
Oh, we will.
So if a team has a brand, what is Oklahoma's brand as we get a look at Addison Feda on bars?
Well, Addison is nearly perfect right there. That was a church to a pack. A little sideways on that half pirouette. Head coach KJ Kindler said she's just a joy to coach.
Oh, nice.
Tiniest little hop. You know she wanted that stick. But Addison is an athlete that just looks right to her coaches when she's done.
Help people affected by the California wildfires in 2025. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. Addison Feda, outstanding on bars. She has a very difficult routine. She just stepped out of elite level international competition, so she has a whole bag full of skills that she can choose from.
She does, and she has had such a nice transition.
Kaya Tonskinen now.
Nice. Again, Bart, you said explosive vaults from Missouri, and we're seeing, you can hear the vault when they hit it. The only thing that I want to see is those stealth landings. They're just taking teeny tiny hops backwards. Right there. Tiny hop backwards. But again, so early in the season, don't be afraid to go big.
Kaya's father represented Finland at the World Gymnastics Championships, and her mom, Kim, competed for Iowa. Torres will be next up. Edison Feda, a 9-9, well rewarded for the difficulty and execution of that routine. Lily Peterson led the Sooners off with a 9.85.
Faith flies high here.
Wow.
Back down to the lower. Slight leg separation there. Again, the judges are looking for those deductions. Don't want to give anything away. And this is one of the best double layouts in the country. Right there. Again, a little shuffle of her feet on the landing.
This release move is just breathtaking, Bridget.
And the handstand, that was perfect, but she has such good rotation. Gets those hands on top of the bar, and just a gorgeous double layout to top off that routine.
Hannah Horton now on vault for Missouri.
Coming after bars. Wow, way to bounce back. That has to be huge for head coach Shannon Welker to know that she had that mistake, took it over to vault, and just nailed her 1.5.
Before her, Kaya Tonskinen, 9.825, the high score so far for Missouri there. They trail Oklahoma in this contest by a quarter of a point coming into this rotation. Oklahoma is the #1 team in the country on the bars, so they have a chance to perhaps extend their lead. Missouri, their rank on the vault is 15th in the country. They have not yet broken 49 points, which is an important benchmark for a team. They want to get into those higher scores. Last year, they were 12 times over that magical 197. They haven't broken the 197 yet this year, but this might be the night for it. T.J. Kindler has coached the Sooners to 6 NCAA championships. She's real excited for this young lady, Elle Mueller.
This is our first time seeing Elle tonight. Gorgeous execution. You see her legs, little separation there on her pack. Elle has such beautiful long lines. Just the dismount. Double layout.
Wow.
And gets the stick. A little bit of a college stick there. The judges want to see the athlete hold it. She kind of stepped backwards out of it.
Elle Mueller from Ham Lake, Minnesota. She went to Twin City Twisters, the same gym as Maggie Nichols, the Oklahoma legend herself.
Elle, the first dual meet for her in her home arena. She is just getting started on this Sooner team.
So far this year, she's only been in bars. We may see her in the floor lineup tonight as well. Here's Jocelyn Moore. This could be big for Missouri.
Your Chango 1.5.
Wow! That was incredible.
The height that she gets on that vault.
And the distance. She took off in Norman. I thought she was going to land in Oklahoma City. That's unbelievable.
What I love about Jocelyn is she's so patient. She waits to twist. You see, she's almost waiting for that extra half at the end. That was incredible.
She earned the first 10 in program history on the vault back in 2023. And she vaulted spectacularly today. Their high score so far is Hannah Horton's 9.875. They're trying to calculate the scores. It looks like there are 2 judges, and they average the score of the 2 judges. It looks like at least one of the judges scored a 10, the other a 9.95, so her score will be a 9.975.
And Bart, this athlete coming up for Oklahoma, Audrey Davis. This is one of the best bar routines in NCAA.
52 of 64 times she's been 9.9 or better. She has scored 110 in her career.
Such a unique bar worker. Oh. Legs just glued together. It just looks like she's floating through the air. Makes it look so easy.
Oh, magnificent handstand. Big dismount coming up.
Bart, she worked on it in warm-ups.
Oh, my goodness. That is a masterpiece right there. You know, last year, she had 11.9975 before she got her 10. Could we see one tonight, Bridget?
I think we are on 10-0 watch right here, just well above the high bar. And this dismount, she worked so hard on it, keeps those feet as close together as she can.
She's a graduate student. She elected to come back for one more year to help the Oklahoma Sooners. The young lady, originally out of Florida, trained at WOGA down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We go back to the final vaulter. This is Amari Celestine after Moore's 9.975.
Another big vault for Missouri. The one thing that Amari does well is the distance. She's not afraid to go really hard on that vault. She's not afraid to go high and far, and that's what the judges are looking for, the distance from the vault. Just a little too much power there, took her step forward. And this is what I mean by distance. You see the location she gets from the vault. And just to step on that landing, I have a feeling she'll be sticking that vault in her future.
Jordan Bowers will be the final competitor. Audrey Davis, her score comes in as a 9.95. Bridget, you're shaking your head.
I just don't agree with that, but the judges will judge.
We'll talk a little bit about this new judging oversight committee that might be affecting the sport we're seeing around the country as Jordan Bowers goes to compete in the anchor spot.
Jordan is another athlete. Just her handstand work is so precise. She is a fierce competitor on all 4 events. Bart, she normally sticks this dismount. Oh, I might have jinxed her. That might have been my fault, but tiny step on the dismount. But coming after Audrey Davis, 9.95. She was set up for a big score there.
Jordan Bowers, the Big 12 all-around champion last year. 6th gymnast ever to earn what is known as a hat trick, which is 10s on 3 of the 4 events. Still hoping someday perhaps to get a 10 on beam to complete that gym slam. Hard to believe she's a senior this year. AJ Kindler talking to Tom Haley, associate head coach there. Coming up, we'll take a look at the Tiger leadership that's been fueling their success when SEC Women's Gymnastics, presented by Sprouts Farm. Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. I'm Bart Connor along with Bridget Sloan. We're at the halfway point in tonight's SEC action with the Oklahoma Sooners hosting the Missouri Tigers in Oklahoma's first meet ever in the new conference. Oklahoma goes to the balance beam, which is a signature event for them. Audrey Davis typically in that leadoff spot. She's quite comfortable there.
And being in the leadoff spot is so important on every event, but balance beam, it really just enforces, hey, I'm up, I'm first, I'm gonna hit, you guys, we can do it too. And Audrey is so elegant on balance beam. Acro series, handstand layout, step out, just such fluid movement. Check that you see that dance. She dances right out of it. Tried to cover it up as well as she could.
She was the NCAA co-champion last year on this event. She was the same on bars.
Dismount, double twist.
Oh, yeah.
Sticks it.
What is it about the mindset of the leadoff gymnast on beam? It's really critical, isn't it?
It's critical, and some athletes love it, and Audrey is an athlete that loves it. This acro series, I love that angle when they are right over the top. But right here, you see that foot comes off, and she's supposed to go right into her needle kick. Just a little bit of a delay there.
Elise Tisler now from Fairfax, Virginia, the redshirt junior, will lead off the Tigers on floor. This is really the event where they're highest ranked in the country and typically a signature event. They're currently 6th in the nation on floor.
Very nice combination pass for Elise to open up this floor routine. You know, Bart, they're known as the Fab Floor. And they have really taken their dance and artistry and really taken it to a technical level. Assistant coach Jackie Turpak does the choreography for them. And they're not just out there dancing, they're performing. Story. For Elise, it's It's more of an Egyptian theme. 1.5 to front layout. Fantastic start for Missouri. They're a little behind right now, so this is an event that they can try to bridge that gap.
Tomorrow we've got men's basketball here on the SEC Network at 3:30 Eastern. Number 6 Tennessee hosts Vanderbilt. Then at 6, Arkansas rolls into Columbia to take on the Missouri Tigers. Kira Wells second up for the Sooners.
Kira coming after Autry Davis, 9.925.
What a leadoff competitor.
Side aerial right over the top of the beam. Teeny tiny balance check on that full turn. Difficult combination, switch leap, switch leap. Have to make sure that you're hitting that 180 split, not just on one, but two. And then right in her aggro series handspring layout step out.
Kira Wells, we saw her earlier on ball with a 9.825. This is the other event that she competes for the Sooners tonight. Remember, there are 5 athletes competing in the all-around for Oklahoma. That is quite rare for any team. Oh, nice.
Sticks that round off 1.5. KJ actually mentioned she thinks sticking a round off 1.5 is harder than a double twist, but Kira makes it look easy. And right here, this combination, it's just a switch leap, and I say just, even though it's very difficult because you have to have power in that takeoff leg. And then round off 1.5, fights for that stick and gets it.
I was talking earlier about a team brand. I guess the Oklahoma brand is really precise technique, form, and execution throughout.
Absolutely.
And of course, Missouri's brand on floor is explosive, fun, and dynamic.
It's a party on floor. When Missouri's on floor, you know it's a party. This is Rayleigh Jackson coming after Elise's 9.825, so a nice solid start. I think Rayleigh can raise the bar a little bit here.
From Park Forest, Illinois, the freshman, and Shannon Welker said he's not at all surprised by her successes. He said, I don't even think she understands how good she is. You can see enormous potential and a bright future for this young lady.
Final pass for Rayleigh. Double tuck. Perfect execution right to that landing. Bart, you mentioned that Shannon thinks she doesn't know how good she is, but hopefully she knows now that she is phenomenal. So much talent. She does such a good job of controlling her power.
Look at the form and execution on this last tumbling pass double back.
She has the slightest, you see those shoulders go back just a little bit, but she has such good awareness that she can hold it. You saw that front foot move just the tiniest bit, but as a freshman, again, knowing that control is key.
I love seeing pointed toes in a double back somersault. That's how much attention to detail they pay. Okay, Edison Feta now for the Sooners after Kira Wells had a 9.825. Remember, Autry Davis led them off with a spectacular 9.925, even with a little bobble in one of her connections.
Addison just going to open up with her acro, handspring layout, step out. You saw those arms quick to her finish. Very nice side aerial. This is an event that really doesn't come easy for Addison. I talked to her earlier this week, and she said her confidence on beam, she still needs to get a little bit more. She said it was just never an event that, you know, she was like, I don't really get on the event and have the confidence, but ever since being at Oklahoma, you can just see the confidence coming.
AJ Kindler says she's a joy to coach. Reminds her of Reagan Smith, who is now one of the assistant coaches here for the Sooners.
Tiny hop on the dismount for Addison. Finishes with that round off double full.
Let's remind the viewers what the points of emphasis are, Bridget.
Well, over on floor exercise, it's all about the difficulty in the tumbling. There's a lot of great tumbling out there, so presentation is key these days. Everybody can do these big tumbling passes, but who can dance and have the best performance out there? And of course, the leaps. They want to see the 180. Amari Celestine, this is a fun routine, Bart.
There's no way you can watch this and not have a smile on your face.
Opens up with a huge tuck forward.
Oh my goodness.
Too much power there. It can be it's challenging to get back up after a fall, and the floor, you have to get right back into that performance mode.
She grabbed her ankle as if she stung her ankles, and then the Sooner crowd cheered her on, and she's now stepping back up to finish her routine. Normally a meet highlight, this routine choreographed in part by her brother, Ertian.
She just has so much power. She might need to add another twist to that. Maybe 2 twists, 2 flips. But right here, this is a tuck full in, and she just gets those shoulders. You're going to see right there, those shoulders, that momentum just keeps going backwards, and unfortunately, she just can't save it.
She grabbed the ankle. You see she's had taped on her ankles, and it's not uncommon if your ankles are sore to over-rotate, because it really hurts when you plant it into the ground and stick it. Unfortunately led to a major error, which will be a big deduction and a missed opportunity for the Tigers on one of their best events. Jordan Bowers on floor now after Addison Theta had a 9.7775, excuse me. That she has yet to score a 10 on to complete what is known as the Gym Slam. She has 10s on vault, bars, and floor in her career. She's a senior.
Nice full turn for Jordan. After a series handspring layout, step out. Beautiful job. Switch half. What I love is you'll see head coach KJ Kindler at the end of the beam.
There's KJ Kindler. She's always positioned down at the end of the beam.
Just the dismount. Round off double twist.
Oh, pretty nice job.
I think we saw a tiny shuffle of the feet. That right foot, just little itty bitty movement. Jordan, I know she wants that 10-0 on balance beam. And with her work ethic and how she does it, I think it'll be there. But this dismount, round off, double twist that right foot, just the tiniest little shuffle.
She had a big year last year, 2024 Big 12 all-around champion, and on the same day got engaged to former OU gymnast Raydell Gamboa. Hannah Horton now on floor. Now, Amari Celestine had a very uncharacteristic 8.975 for her floor routine, so that puts extra pressure on the last three competitors for Missouri here on floor. Wow.
Huge tuck full in to start things off for Hannah. It looked like she walked into that.
Oklahoma leads by 0.4 of a point. Missouri needs to be strong here because they'll finish on beam in that last rotation. Floor is their chance to make up a little ground on the Sooners, even though the Sooners are on one of their best events, the beam.
Remember, Hannah, she had that mistake on bars, but is just showing the leadership, bouncing back, had a great vault. So far has had an amazing floor exercise. Front tuck, step out to double tuck. Gorgeous landing. You saw, again, so much power. Really nice coming after Amari. Again, a very uncharacteristic mistake, but Hannah, the right athlete to get the rest of this floor lineup back on track.
Well, it's interesting, one of the rules changes this year is if you're doing a two-pass tumbling routine, you have to do at least 2 types of somersaults in your final tumbling run. So we're seeing a lot of front step outs to double backs at the end, and that's a real test on the endurance.
Oh, absolutely. That's a challenging pass to end with.
Lily Peterson now on beam, tied for 3rd in the SEC. Jordan Bowers had a 9.925. Same score as Audrey Davis.
Nice correction. You saw that shoulder dip just a little bit on that series, but holds her arms, holds that finish. Pitch kick into her switch side. Wow, those shoulders, Bart, were right over her hips. And that very rare side summy sighting. You don't see those very often. Last week she stuck this cold.
Oh, and again. Wow. Freshman Lily Peterson from White Bear Lake, Minnesota.
One of the all-around competitors, but this side summy, you see those shoulders right over her hips, right over her heels. Perfect landing in this round-off double twist. KJ really likes the round-off double twist dismounts, and can't blame her because her athletes stick them.
9.925 was her score on vault in the first rotation. 9.85 on bars. We'll see what she gets when we come back. Kennedy Griffin now from Strongsville, Ohio, the sophomore up for Missouri. 9.875 was the score for Hannah Horton. They have 2 competitors left for Missouri, and they trail by just under ½ a point, the Sooners.
Opens up with a very nicely controlled double pike right to that lunge.
You notice the gymnast landing on that 4-incher. That mat is basically to protect the ankles. There's no deduction for using it, is there?
No deduction, and honestly, this early in the season, it's all about keeping these athletes healthy.
these athletes. Even Missouri next week, they go against the reigning national champions, the LSU Tigers. So a lot of pressure, particularly in this conference where there's no easy weeks, are there?
There is never an easy week in the SEC. So far, Missouri is going to be dropping Amari's 9.8 or 8.975. Kennedy Griffin, really nice job. A little under-rotated on that last pass, but covers it well and trying to keep Missouri in the mix.
Griffin, the sophomore and known as a leader on the program. Oklahoma, as we mentioned, this is their home opener, their first time competing in the Southeastern Conference. Coming up, you can see their schedule over the next few weeks. Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, LSU, and Florida, your alma mater. That will not be an easy meet, will it?
It will not. It'll be a fun meet.
Faith Torres now the anchor competitor after Lily Peterson, who's having a fine day, the freshman, with a 9.9 on beam.
Faith has one of the most difficult acro series right here. It's a side aerial layout step out. Saves it so you have to be perfectly square over the beam. Any sort of dip in that shoulder and it'll throw you off.
Talking to KJ Kindler this week, she said she's the polar opposite of Jordan Bowers, who is fierce, gritty, and almost angry when she competes. She said Faith is very laid back.
Honestly, she seems laid back, and she seems really fun. She always has a smile, sticks the dismount. Balance check on that very difficult acro series.
NCAA co-champion on this event last year.
Right here, you see that shoulder dip, that right shoulder? And look at KJ in the back. She's leaning with her. One thing I love that Faith does is she kind of takes that deep breath and gets her core back tight and stays on the beam.
She was struggling a bit last week, and KJ Kindler, she said, switch the direction of your beam routine. Not a lot of athletes can do that, because don't you have a certain beam and a certain direction you like to face?
Athletes are very superstitious, and gymnasts have a direction that they like to go, but hey, when you gotta do it, you gotta do it.
Jocelyn Moore now, the final competitor for Missouri. Kennedy Griffin had a 9.75. Moore is always a delight.
Big opening here. Double layout.
Last year, she earned the program's first perfect 10 on this event.
Beautiful leap series, great extension. You can tell that Missouri's floor lineup, in general, they are just working on the details, the technique, going back to the basics.
It was in the last rotation that she scored 9.975 with that spectacular ball.
Final pass, front through to double tuck.
Beautiful. So high.
Little bounce back on that when she landed, but again, stayed in bounds.
We mentioned that supplemental mat. Sometimes it's hard to control the landing because they bounce you back up, don't
Yes,
they?
especially when they're a little firm. You see right here, double tuck right there. You see she bounces, tries to keep that front leg down. But what a performer.
So they'll certainly replace the score. Unfortunately, the Celestine score for Amari Celestine was only an 8.975. So Jocelyn Moore, a clutch routine when the Tigers needed it. They're trailing the Oklahoma Sooners by just under a half a point. Faith Torres scored a 9.8 in the anchor spot on beam for Oklahoma. They will move to floor in the fourth and final rotation, and the Missouri Tigers will move to the beam, even though they're trailing Oklahoma by just under a half a point. And then she surprised Shannon Welker. She came back to town for a wedding of a teammate, and Shannon says, how would you like to do a little more gymnastics? You have one more season of eligibility left. And she said, okay, I'm in. Can you imagine taking off? What do you call a gymnast who takes a year off?
Retired.
All right, we'll see her. She is a rock, and she'll be their final competitor on beam in this fourth and final rotation. Missouri trails Oklahoma by .625 as Addison Lawrence leads them off here.
Addison is a great leadoff for Missouri because she's so calm. She is just a calm, collected starter. Beautiful side aerial to back handspring.
Lawrence, a junior from Olathe, Kansas, did her club training at Gage Gymnastics. Several elite national team members come from that program.
Slight balance check there. You saw that foot pop off the beam. That will be a deduction. Dismount. But a stuck round off 1.5 dismount. Really nice start for Missouri.
Help people affected by the California wildfires in 2025. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. Audrey Davis is our leader in the all-around competition tonight. She's had a 9.925, a 9.95, and another 9.925. She is in the leadoff spot on floor in this fourth and final rotations. The Sooner have the lead.
Audrey opening up. Handspring double twist. Beautifully executed. This is such a fun routine for Audrey.
AJ Kindler does the choreography every year for all the Sooners and prides herself on unique music and really fun routines.
About 1.5 to front full. You see she dances out of her passes, making sure that even if she's a little short, she can cover it up. AJ said every floor routine this year is just nonstop movement. Audrey showing just that. I don't think she stopped smiling the entire routine. What a leadoff and what a night for Audrey Davis. Has not scored anything below a 9.925.
In 4 years at Oklahoma, she's done 218 routines and hit 217 of them. Last year, she didn't miss a routine, and she was in the all-around in 11 of their 16 meets.
Pretty good. Pretty good, Bart. Audrey is definitely an athlete you want on your team.
Amy Weir now, St. Louis.
coming after Addison, leading off with that 9.825.
Amy is a transfer from the University of Oklahoma, so she's familiar with the Lloyd Noble Arena. Talking to Shannon Welker earlier this week, he talked about really strategically using the transfer portal to fill some spaces where he needed athletes. There's only one all-arounder here tonight, Amari Celestine. But he was quite methodical about how he went and said, we need somebody here on beam, we need some more bars, we need some more vaulters to put together his team this year. And he has 8 or 9 newcomers this year with the freshmen as well as those athletes who joined in the transfer portal.
Coaches always talk about teams being brand new every season, but he really does have a brand new team between the transfers and the freshmen. But one thing I love about Amy, this is our first time seeing her tonight, so she had to wait through the first 3 rotations to showcase this beam routine. Is an excellent beam worker. And a stuck dismount coming after Addison's 9.825 bar. I feel like they're going to be growing in scores, itching to hit hopefully a 9.9 in this beam rotation for Missouri. We have a cartwheel to gainer full dismount, lifts off the beam and gets the stick.
So we go from the graduate student, Audrey Davis, who gets a 9.925, a career high for her on beam in the leadoff spot of all things, to the freshman, Addison Feda. Herself having a solid day with a high score so far, a 9.9 on bars.
Handspring front double twist. Looked like she lost her footing just a little bit on that landing. Normally does a jump out of that first pass. Front tuck through to 2.5 twist.
I mentioned earlier that she was coached by her parents, Tony and Jen Feda, at their club in Pennsylvania. She said she basically grew up in the gym since she was a baby.
She first stepped foot in the gym at 2 days old. One thing Addison did tell me, though, is her gymnastics career was always her choice. She loved the sport. As her parents being her coaches, it might be thought that they pressure her into that, but she was very clear with me. She was like, no, I love this sport. It was my choice, and she is having the time of her life here at Oklahoma.
Sunday, we've got women's basketball here on the SEC Network at 1 Eastern. Catch the number 5 LSU Tigers as they square off with Florida. Then at 3, Ole Miss takes on Mississippi State. And next Friday, we've got another gymnastics doubleheader right here on the SEC Network at 6:30 Eastern. Number 7, Florida hosts number 15, Georgia. Then at number 8, it's the Oklahoma Sooners, the top-ranked team in the country, square off against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Kennedy Griffin waiting for the judges to tabulate their scores. Might be a good time to bring up something I mentioned earlier. There's a new oversight committee that's overseeing all the judging this year, and the mandate basically is to make sure there's more consistency around the country and to make sure that judges are basically staying within the rules, because sometimes, you know, excitement builds and all of a sudden scores build, and a lot of people think, well, my goodness, you know, did she really deserve a 10? Well, it was was maybe a situational 10 that led to that circumstance. How do you feel about this new judging oversight system?
I think it's a little early still. I do, but I think it's going to be really tough to get that perfect 10 now. Not to say that the 10s that were given last year were not deserved. I know I had a couple 10-0s that I definitely didn't deserve, so I understand that. But these athletes, they're just out there doing their favorite, which is gymnastics. And the judges, again, the judges will judge. But
the whole point of this system is a pilot program is to just sort of rank judges based on their accuracy and consistency, hopefully rewarding them with postseason assignments. They hope to use that system in more full force next year. This year, as you mentioned, it's a pilot program. But I do believe it's going to make a judge hesitate whether they're going to write down a 10 or not, because they know they're being highly scrutinized by their peers.
Kennedy Griffin so far, very clean in this balance beam routine. She's coming after Amy Wu's 9.825. We have a pair of 9.825s for Missouri. Leap combination there. Kennedy not afraid to go big on balance beam. She gets high on her jumps. Just the dismount. Back handspring 1.5, really a challenging dismount. We see a lot of round-offs, getting that momentum. Out of the back handspring, you have to build that momentum really quickly. She gets her feet to the beam quick. Little under-rotated, you saw that hop backwards. But overall, a very nice, clean hit routine for Kennedy Griffin.
Well, this is a debut for Elle Mueller on floor. First appearance for the Sooners. She's in for Danny Sievers, who is sitting out this week with a little bit of an ankle tweak. And so excited to see what freshman Elle Mueller can deliver here.
Opens up with that combination pass. Front through double tuck. Perfectly done. Second pass, front layout into her Rudy, little under rotation on that combination pass.
Oh, the music just draws you in. Fantastic.
KJ definitely knows how to pick the music for each athlete. Elle Mueller, her debut on floor exercise here in front of her home crowd. That's always an exciting moment to compete in front of your home crowd for the first time. But this final pass, it's a front layout into a front 1.5. You see she hops sideways. She just didn't quite get her chest up on that landing.
You can see why she's here at Oklahoma. That's exactly the kind of gymnast that KJ Kindler recruits. He comes out of the Twin City program, where, of course, Maggie Nichols is from, and many other great champions. Elle Mueller, a highlight there on floor for the Sooners. Amari Celestine coming after a 9.675 for Kennedy Griffin.
Gorgeous combination. Back handspring into a side aerial, and Amari had the uncharacteristic mistake on floor exercise. Has to put that to the side for here on beam. Front tuck. We did not see a lot of those in college. like it when athletes do little different elements.
Celestine, the only athlete competing for the Missouri Tigers in the all-around tonight. Highest score so far was the 9.85 on vault for her. Why don't you see a lot of front somersaults on beam?
Bart, they're kind of hard and they hurt your feet.
Okay, fair enough.
And when you're competing every single weekend, you got to protect your body. But what I love is she keeps that chest up. Really beautifully done. And then gainer full right off the side. Would love to see her get off the beam just a little bit more. Get a little height, but man, sticks that and she's excited.
Nice routine to finish out the night for her. Lily Peterson now after Elle Mueller got a 9.875 in her floor debut. Audrey Davis so far in the leadoff spot with their high score, the 9.925.
Saves it, stays inbounds. You don't want to see those athletes go out of the white square.
You step over the line, it's 1/10 a point deduction in addition to the deduction for the large step.
Handspring double twist.
Back-to-back freshmen here, Elle Mueller and now Lily Peterson, both from Minnesota.
One thing KJ said about these freshmen is they really, the entire class has just bought into the program. And it shows. I mean, these freshmen are stepping up and stepping out for Oklahoma. They've got so much talent on this team.
I have 9-10 routines from the freshman class in this competition tonight. That is substantial. Out of 24 competitors altogether, 24 performances altogether, nearly half coming from freshmen. Rayleigh Jackson on beam now. Mari Celestine had a 9.725.
Front aerial, back handspring, nice smooth transition. Judges are looking for the combinations to break because that's where the deductions will come from. Really making sure the judges do not see any deductions so far. She's so precise, intentional with every single movement. Just the dismount. This has been nearly perfect.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Gorgeous. From freshman to freshman to freshman, Rayleigh Jackson, the freshman from Park Forest, Illinois. Well done.
And this dismount, check out the height she gets. She finds that landing. You saw her head waiting patiently, didn't want to look too quickly to find that landing. And wow, really nice job.
Second to last on floor for the Sooners will be Jordan Bowers. I mentioned earlier that after becoming the Big 12 Gymnast of the Year and winning the all-around title, guess what? She got engaged. That was a pretty good day. Raydell Gamboa, the former OU gymnast, proposed to her last year at those championships. She is a senior this year from Lincoln, Nebraska. And I think you're going to enjoy this routine. She has a different style. She's very fierce and gritty, as AJ Kindler says. And She almost looks angry, although that's not what her personality is pretty light. But when she's competing, she is dialed in, and she almost looks mean.
KJ said her floor personality is serious, and this routine, it took a while for them to find the perfect piece of music. They actually combined a handful of pieces for this one, and this is where we just sit back and watch.
Moonlight Sonata.
Absolutely stunning. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
It's a story. I mean, it's an absolute storytelling of a routine. Her tumbling is impeccable. This first pass, handspring, double twist, punch front, so much time in the air, and finishes with this round of back handspring, double pike.
Great control on the landing. There's Ray Dowell. He's happy with it. She has scored 4 perfect 10s on floor, including 3 consecutive 10s in 2024. As Tom Haley, one of the associate head coaches, gives her high fives. Now this is Helen Hu. An amazing story about this young lady who competed until 2023, and then during her career had an ACL tear, had a redshirt year, which she didn't take. Took a year off to travel the world with her sister and backpack, and then came back. How in the world can she do that, Bridget?
I don't know, Bart. I really don't. That is so impressive to take the year off, come back, look even better. This is Helen's event. She's waited 3 rotations, 5 athletes on this beam rotation for this moment.
6 times she scored 9 9.75s on beam. She said she wants to complete her career by getting that perfect 10 finally. Oh my goodness.
Showcasing not just difficulty, but the flexibility that she has.
Wow.
A work of art. That is a work of art beam routine. She's excited, as she should be. Just a gorgeous beam worker. Not sure how you learn how to do that, but she does it very well. And a gainer pike off the end. Shannon has got to be happy that she is back, and especially in this beam lineup.
I bet she's glad she came back for one final year after taking a year off. And to compete at such a high level, what a treat. Faith Torres will wrap it up for the Oklahoma Sooners, who have this one in the bag. Jordan Bowers before her, a 9.975.
Faith, the only one with this pass in this Sooner lineup. Gorgeous double layout. Over there on beam,
looks like Helen Hu got her 10 that she came back for in just the early part of the season at an away meet. We'll be back to talk about more of her in a minute, but how about Faith Torres? What an explosive performer on floor.
Front tuck, step out into her double tuck. Perfect landing. Amazing job for Faith. She's an athlete in my eyes that every single year she just gets better and better. You can see the confidence that she brings to her routines. Outstanding job. Last pass we see here, front through to double tuck. You see her chest, her arms, they just are exactly where they need to be to get that perfect stick.
Last year's NCAA runner-up. She earned a 10 at the Big 12 Championships. And Helen Hu might just be the moment of the night. Nearly impossible to take a year off of high-level gymnastics. She decided to come back after a year off and take one more shot at a redshirt season, and after several 9.975, 6 in her career, she gets a 10. And how about this? We're going to finish this meet on a pair of 10s because it looks like Faith, no, maybe not. There's one judge through a 10.
And a 9.95.
And a 9.95. And it looks like the score for Faith Torres is a 9.975. The Sooners will win this one by more than a point over Missouri, but Missouri got a bright moment tonight with Helen Hu's perfect 10, and we were covering it live. We'll be back to wrap this one from Norman, Oklahoma, after this. We're back in Norman, Oklahoma, in the Lloyd Noble Center. The Oklahoma Sooners, the heavy favorite, win tonight over the visiting Missouri Tigers. And there's the queen of gymnastics, Nadia Comaneci, the first perfect 10 in Olympic history, congratulating the Oklahoma Sooners on their victory tonight. I'm Bart Connor, along with Bridget Sloan, and we had a thrilling night tonight. We saw some really high-quality gymnastics. We're just in week 3. Of course, Audrey David was impeccable for the Sooners in the all-around.
Audrey is money. I mean, every time she competes, she is just money. One thing I love about Audrey, she's not afraid. She's not afraid to be thrown in the lineup, starts things off with a stuck ball, and then her work of art, bar routine.
This could have been a 10 in my book.
It was a 10 in my eyes, Bart. And then over to beam in that leadoff spot. So difficult. Again, just an athlete. She's never afraid, no matter where KJ puts her, and ends things on floor with a nearly perfect routine. Such a fun floor routine, such a fun athlete to watch, and she is back having the time of her life.
The graduate student took one more year to finish off her career as a Sooner. 39.725, a career high in the all-around for Audrey Davis here at home. The first meet for the Oklahoma Sooners in the Southeastern Conference. But the highlight of the night has to be Helen Hu from the visiting Missouri Tigers, talking about coming back from a year off with hopes of finally getting her first perfect 10, Bridget.
I'm speechless that we got to witness that. I mean, you take a year off, you come back, you want that perfect 10, and you get it. Wow.
What a night for Helen, who so honored to be able to see here tonight get that first perfect 10. The Oklahoma Sooners led from start to finish as expected. Missouri Tigers on the rise. This is a great program, and they will be challenging for championships soon.